you look at those three things, and if you can give me the best person, and if you can copy that person's belief, that person's sequence of doing things, and if you can copy their physiology, I can show you somebody who can copy. So those are the three things, okay? So the most important thing is that person's belief, okay? So it's very simple. Let's get into it. So the belief, you want to look at, when you look at, for example, Ed Milet's belief, when you look at Greg Kapp's belief, when you look at Rich Dawley's belief, when you look at Jeff Levitan's belief. So you got to look at some of these greatest recruiters, and you got to be, how do these people think? And I'm going to think like that. And if you want to have great recruiting, you got to think like that. So here's how they don't do it. Okay. They don't recruit to make money. Okay. They don't recruit just to grow their business. They have very specific recruiting beliefs. So they recruit because they believe they're saving someone's life. So you recruit, you might want to win a contest, and you got to recruit, and you're like, I got to go get a new business partner. I got to because I haven't finished my 5-5 thing. They truly recruit. I'm telling you, when you look at Ed and Monty and Rich and Jeff Levitan and Greg Kapp, these are the people, when I go sit down with them, when I'm asking them questions, these are the questions I ask them. I was like, what do you really believe? And they really believe that they're going to change that person's life. They do believe that they're saving that person's life. They do believe that that person's life, these are few beliefs. They believe that a person's life is better just because they're part of WFG. They truly believe that. And I choose to believe that. And now I believe that. I believe, and by the way, here's another belief. They believe everyone should be part of WFG. Everyone. So that's what I believe. I believe every person needs to be part of WFG. Now, here's the thing. Let me tell you, I don't believe every person is supposed to come to WFG and make $1 million. I don't believe that. Okay, very simple. I do not believe every single person needs to come to WFG and make $1 million. But I do believe that every person's life is better because they're part of WFG. Very simple. So what if they paid $100? They came into WFG, they paid $100, they came into WFG, they went to Crusade Basic, they learned what an IUL is, they get an IUL, they quit. Is their life is better? Yes or no? Their life is better, period, done. Okay, what if they pay $100, they come into WFG, they come into one of our meetings, and Greg Kapp is speaking, and he talks about, hey, you got to forgive someone. You got, that thing that you've been holding on, you got to forgive someone. What if they come into WFG and they forgive someone and they quit? Is their life better? Yes or no? Okay. So I can give you so many examples. What if they come into WFG and they learn that they got to love themselves, that they're going to fall in love with themselves, and is their life better? Yes or no? What if they come into WFG and we EPR them, we encourage them, we praise them, we recognize them, and they feel a little bit better for 2 weeks? Is their life better? The answer is yes. See, sometimes you put this huge stuff on the person. It's like, oh, every person I recruit must make 50,000, must become an SMD, must stay here, must win. No, every person's life just needs to be better. As long as somebody's life better, they should be part of WFG, period. That's it. I'm just telling you, this is not something I made up. This doesn't come from me. This comes from Rich Dawley. What if they come into the business, they see Rich speak, and they're like, you know what, I should love my wife a little bit more. I should treat her a little bit better. Like, is their life better? Yes or no? So period. So when you have that mindset, it's a complete different mindset. Complete different mindset. So let's go through it again. So I believe, you should say this, I believe, not Cash believes, I believe. You should say, I believe every person's life is better because they're part of WFG, because they're part of the organization. Now, I want you to take it a little bit further too and put it on you, by the way. So forget WFG, you make that your mission. See, if my mission is that every person's life is better because they're part of WFG, I don't really think about it as a whole WFG. I think about it, if they come into my organization, I'm gonna make sure that their life is better. I'm gonna make sure that it's gonna, so you should be thinking like that. You should be like thinking like, look, I'm gonna do whatever it takes that when a person comes into our team, that their life is gonna be slightly better. And you make that your obsession, that you're gonna do whatever it takes. That's why I'm so obsessed about self-improvement and helping people become better, because if they come here and learn how to read their business plan and quit the next day, we did our job, we made our difference in their lives. So you see, if you're thinking, oh, WFG is going to make their life better, then the control is out of you, is out of your own hand. But if I think control is in my hand, I can make sure these 5 people that come into my organization, their life is going to be better, because not necessarily because you're going to motivate them. Maybe you're being the director of motivation. Maybe you're putting them in front of a specific message that Jamie's giving. Maybe you're putting them in front of a specific message that Greg Cap is giving. Maybe you're putting them in front of convention. You're being the director of motivation. You making sure that they hear a specific message they need. Now you're in control. And when I'm in control, I'm like, okay, I know that I know I can make this difference. I know I can make this thing happen. So that's the first belief. All right, let's go to the next one. So another belief is that whenever they're going to meet someone, they think that they're meant to supposed to meet that person. Okay. So in other words, when it comes to prospecting, let's talk about prospecting. Look at the 2 different mindsets. One mindset is you ran into someone, he's like, hey, I should talk to them. Maybe I should talk to them. You know, they look very sharp, you know, and then you kind of get nervous and you're like, oh man, it's kind of hard and I don't want to say it. Plus, you know, my SMD said you got to go get a bunch of names, and Elite Circle homework was, hey, I gotta prospect somebody. Now all of a sudden you put all of these pressure on yourself, and talking to someone becomes this massive pressure, and it's like, oh, I don't want to do it. And then people quit WFG and they're like, oh man, I feel so relieved. I don't have to talk to everyone when I come across them. Oh, you know, have you seen people who quit? That's kind of what they say, because they put so much pressure. It's like, oh my God. It was like, man, I was hunting and every person I was seeing was like meat. And I was hunting for people and I don't want to look at people. Well, look at this. You were looking at the wrong way from the beginning. Okay. What if you prayed about it and you said, God, you know who needs this. You know who's praying for a better life right now. You know who needs this. You know who been praying last night. It's like, man, we couldn't pay our mortgage payment. God, I wish we could send our kids to a better school. Man, I wish I could learn how this, I would have not lost this much money. Man, I wish we would had enough coverage. Man, we wish we could get that dream house. Man, we wish we could get that pool in the backyard. Man, I wish we had a little bit more money so we didn't have to fight. Man, wish I would go to a restaurant. I didn't have to look at the stupid price. Man, I wish I could take my kids to the restaurant and I didn't have to worry about, man, what kind of food they're gonna order. What if you actually thought about it, that somebody in their head was thinking like that, and you'd be thinking like this, that you say, God, you know who needs this. Okay, I'm here. I'm your tool. You use me. I'm your tool. So you put them in front of me and I'll make sure I'll do my job. You do your job, I'll do my job. You do your half, I do my half. What if you thought about it that way? Therefore, every single person that you came across, whether it's in a line or just by accidentally you go on their page on Instagram, you'll be like, whoa, God wanted me to meet this person. Is that a different thing or no? So now you're like, okay, God, you put them in front of me. I got to talk to you. I'm going to change their life. I'm going to do my job. You do your job. So now you're thinking in a complete different way. You're thinking, okay, this is a bigger mission than me. So these are the beliefs that a great recruiter have. A great recruiter thinks that person's life is better. A great recruiter thinks that they're saving their lives. The great recruiter believes that the person's meant to be in their life. So these are a belief of a great recruiter. Okay, so you got whatever you got to do, you got to copy these beliefs. And what is a belief? Belief is just a lie that you repeat over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and then it becomes your reality. Very simple. Muhammad Ali said he was the greatest way before he was the greatest. And he just repeated that lie, and eventually he became the greatest. So you got to have these beliefs of recruiting and stop thinking about yourself. So we all feel sorry whenever we feel. So as a matter of fact, anytime you feel bad, it's because you're thinking about yourself. I know this myself. Anytime I feel sucky, I was like, Cash, I'm thinking about myself. Who else can I be thinking about? And all of a sudden, immediately you're thinking about somebody else, and your entire attention shifts. So let's get into a couple of other beliefs. What are other beliefs that great recruiters have? Okay, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I want you to think about this. What if you recruited 100 people? Okay, you recruited 100 people. 99 of them quit. Okay. But one of them, this is somebody told me this, and it really changed my life when it came to recruiting. What if you recruited 100 people and one of them completely changed their life? Then 99 quit, one out of 100 changed their life completely. Would that be worth it? Yes or no? Okay. So for me, the answer is absolutely yes. If I recruit 100 people and one of them changed their life, that is completely worth it. But a lot of times, most people look at those 99 that quit and they're like, oh my God, where is your focus going? Is your focus going on the 99 that quit, on the one that stay? So a great recruiter focuses on that one that stays. Now, isn't it interesting that our numbers are every 100 recruits that you get, one becomes an SMD? Every 100 recruits in your organization will produce one senior marketing director in your organization. Is that interesting? 100 recruits gives you one. Okay, so which one are you focused on? So hopefully you're writing this stuff, and I'm telling you this stuff, and you kind of need to write it down in part of your affirmation and read it as part of your affirmation and make these your personal beliefs if you want to become a great recruiter. Okay, and by the way, again, WFG, remember, WFG is only a freaking tool. That's it. It's only a tool. It's a tool that gives you whatever it is that you want if you're committed to changing enough people's lives. So if you see, we talk about this all the time. We say, look, what's the ultimate purpose of life? Let's just think about this for a second. Why do people live? What's the ultimate purpose of life? It's very simple. If you haven't figured out, I asked that question many times and from many different people to find out what's the ultimate purpose of life. So if you look at it, what is it? I mean, some people are saying that. So, okay, watch this. It's actually happiness, okay? So watch this. Anything that you want is because you think that thing is going to make you happy. If you want a pool in the backyard, you think it's going to make your kids happy, and therefore it's going to make you happy. If you want to open up a charity, it's because you want to make that difference, because eventually that makes you feel happy. Whether it's money, whatever it is, I don't care what the thing is, whatever it is that you want is because you think that thing that you get makes you happy. Okay? Simple. So, okay, I want to live a very fulfilled, happy life. Okay? So if that is the case, and if I want to live a very, very fulfilled, happy life, where does happiness come from? Happiness comes from two places. Happiness comes from, one, helping other people. If I'm helping other people and making a difference, it just basically simply is going to make my life better. If I'm adding value here to people, guess what? It's make me feel better. Period. Okay? Two, happiness comes from growing. If you're growing and you're making progress in your life, you're becoming happy. This is why Martin Luther King said, most people in America, they die when they're 25 years old. We just don't get a chance to bury them when they're 90 years old, because they stop growing. They stop dreaming. Because is that crazy? See, we are, in our society, our system is designed systematically for us to grow until 25. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then it's college. It's systematically growing. There's a step-by-step growth. And then I'm going to get married. And there's a step-by-step. And then after 25, I'll see you at retirement. At 25, it kind of stops until you're at 65. In the middle, there's like no progress anymore. So you want happiness, you want growth. Okay, so those are the things that brings happiness. So therefore, if you look at this as just a tool that can give you whatever it is that you want, what is it that you want? Whatever it is that you want, you have to look at this as a tool, and it could be a tool that you can give it to people. The reason I love our business so much, because I love the self-improvement part of it so much, because nobody ever told me this stuff when I was working in a car wash and I just wanted to be somebody and I just wanted to make money. Everybody told me, hey, just go to school. I said, I want to make money. They said, go to school. Oh, that was a wrong answer. If I would say, hey, man, I just wanted to, cure cancer, they're like, great, go to school, become a doctor. But if you say, hey, yeah, I want to make money, that's not the answer. So they just gave me the wrong answers, and nobody ever coached me this stuff. And then I became introduced to this self-improvement world. And then you got all these guys that teach about self-improvement. But you realize that all of the people who teach about self-improvement, they just teach people and then they say, okay, go apply it. WFG, we get a chance to actually teach all this stuff that people need to become happy. You know, this is why we call the name of our organization Wealth Builders, because we believe wealth, there's 4 cornerstones of wealth. And you got to create your own philosophy in what it is that you're doing. We believe wealth, one side of it is money, but there's another 3 sides. The other side is happiness. The more happier you are, the more wealthier you are. Okay. The next one of it is success, whether it's sales, leadership, all the personal development stuff. That is another cornerstone. So we put all of this. I was like, what is it that we want to teach people? It's like, these are all the stuff that we want to teach people, but we just don't want to teach people. We said we want to teach people and then give them say, okay, apply it to this step by step. Because here's the thing. People think I'm just going to learn all this stuff and then it's going to go happen. We all know this. No, this thing is so insanely crazy. It goes like this, and then he smacks you down, and then it goes up again, and then he smacks you down again. It goes up again, and he smacks you up. And it's that process that's called life, okay? So I love watching our guys going through this and me going through this. I'm going up, all right, we got it, boom. Nope, next month sucks. And then, hey, it's going up, boom. Okay, so people don't know this. So you got to pick their hand, help your people and hold their hand throughout this process and know that it's normal. And don't get sad about it when one of your guys if they're happy, they're excited, and then all of a sudden there's nothing going on. And they're sucking, okay? They're sucking and they're losing hope. Well, that is called life, okay? That's what this game. We all know this. Everybody can be happy and fired up and excited when numbers are up and everything's great and everything is going well. But then how excited are you when things are going crappy, right? So you got to be thinking like that. But your people are not thinking like that. Your people are just, man, they're getting stuck in their life and da-da-da. So why am I telling you this? Because if you don't understand this, when your people are going through those hard times, you feel bad for them instead of feeling good for them. When your people going through the struggles, you shouldn't feel bad for them. That's part of becoming great in life. That's why we give them all these self-improvement stuff. So when they go through those crappy stuff, we help them, we coach them, we help them do things that they don't really want to do. That's what a coach does. Coach helps people do things they don't really want to do. They don't try to change people, but there's certain things that we got to push people to, like convention or whenever you have elite circles, a lot of you guys might not want to go. That's our job as a leader, to push people to do the things they don't want to do. So these are a couple of the things you got to have, you guys, as a mindset of a great recruiter. Okay, the mindset of it. Then, so let's go to the next one. So the next thing is you also got to have certain stuff, whatever it is that gets your juice going. Whatever it is. I don't care what it is. You got to find that thing that it gets really you going. Maybe it's a competition. I like personally competition. I like when people are beating me. It's like, it's just not everybody's like that, but I'm like that. So I don't care. I'm going to use whatever I can. right? Anybody see Daniel Fumbo's numbers? It's awesome, right? He's smoking everybody. He's smoking us right now, like so bad, like embarrassingly bad. So I love it. It like drives me so much right now. Okay, I'm like, this is awesome. This guy came here 3 years ago and he's like smoking everybody right now. I love this right now. So you gotta be, you gotta see, okay, what gets you going? What gets under your skin? And then whatever that thing is, and use it to as juice, as motivation for you to really get you going. So that is up to you. You got to figure it out. Maybe you got to sit down with your coach and your mentor and kind of go back and forth and find out what that thing is that really gets you going. And sometimes in the beginning, it's just a little. So people think their why got to be, by the way, this big, huge thing. And people, this is why people win, because they got this huge whys. No, I didn't have a huge why. I had like, if there was a huge why, it was a big fire, I had a little candle. Okay, it was a little candle. I was like, yeah, I want to be somebody. Yeah, it's kind of important for me to retire my dad, but not really. So it was kind of there, but not that much. But just like fire, if you have a little one, if you add a little wood to it, and then you put a little gasoline on it, and you keep doing that process and process and process, and you start thinking about it, stacking reason, all of a sudden it becomes this huge fire that really gets you going. Okay, so I'm just telling you, don't think, if a lot of times people that was me in the beginning, I was like, man, I don't have really why. I don't have any why. Okay, I really, just nothing really. So I must not win. I was like, no, find something small and then just add wood to it, add fire to it, because that's basically ultimately what's going to get you going. A great missionary, a great recruiter needs to basically get themselves excited and fired up. What if there was no leader to get you going? What are you going to do? So here's another one. You know, when you're listening to Ed Milet, or when you're listening to these leaders or Tony Robbins or anybody who it is that you're talking to or listening to, I mean, you know what the belief of the great ones are? The great ones always believe they're only talking to them. So when you're listening to Ed, or when you're listening to anybody, you're going to be like, I don't care there's 1,000 people on the call. Ed's only talking to me. He doesn't care about any of these. He's just talking to me. That's it. That's how you need to be thinking. That's a belief of a great recruiter. That's a belief of somebody who has self-confidence. You got to believe. If I tell you one thing, the difference between the people who really make it and people who don't is that the people who make it, they really believe they deserve it. And it's only a belief. It's really not, it's not real. It's they choose to be like, okay, I believe it. Okay, I believe it. And it's just a belief. Believe it. You're like, all right, I'm just going to choose to believe it. Just trick yourself. That's what I had to do. I was the least self-confident person in the world 100% of the time. So I said, I did a couple of things. I said, you know what? I believe it. Why not? I believe it. I deserve it. I deserve it. And then you put the work behind it. And when you put the work behind it, you do something you've never done before. You go crazy. You go psycho. This is why you need to go psycho right now. I'm going to tell you why you got to go psycho right now. That's a different reason. But when you do that, when you really, 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 really work hard, I was watching something from Mayweather yesterday. And I saw he was going to the gym at 1 a.m. And he was explaining why is he going to the gym at 1 a.m. And it was very simple why he was going to the gym at 1 a.m. because nobody else was going to the gym at 1 a.m. So he's doing things that his competitor are not doing. Therefore, it gives them the edge to believe that he's better. Okay. So you got to believe, what is it better about you than whoever it is, you know, that you think is winning? Because I guarantee you there's something in you. Okay, there's something in you that's better if you believe it, but you just have to look for it. But most people look at other people, they're like, oh my God, they're better because of this, they're better because of this. Instead of looking at themselves, they're like, you know what, I'm more honest. You know, I have more integrity. You know, I work harder. You know, I just care more about people. You know, I work harder than everybody else. Think about what it is you got that's better than whoever it is. Just anytime somebody's speaking, if Ed's speaking, anybody's like, let me see what I got that's better. So, and then once you find that, then you focus on that. And that's going to give you a little bit by little bit by little bit by little bit self-confidence. Another thing for self-confidence is you do something very simple. I'll give you an example. You heard this before, but for example, when I wake up in the morning, I drink a glass of water with lemon. Okay, I'm drinking a glass of water with lemon every morning because it's just something so simple that I could do every morning. So this morning, I was running and I run out of door. I'm getting out of door. I'm like, crap, I didn't drink my water. I'm like, man, I've been drinking my lemon water, you know, for the past 6 months every morning. I'm like, screw this, I'm going back. So I go back, grab a little lemon, put it, just drink and come back. Why? Because I don't want to leave, you know, that little one thing. I don't want to lose that edge. It's something really stupid. So pick something little so simple and then start doing it. And then it stacks up on itself. And that's how you're going to create self-confidence. All of this stuff, by the way, has to do with recruiting, everybody. Let me give you another one. A great recruiter always recruit people to themselves, not to the company. Okay? A great recruiter always, see, I don't care how many people heard of WFG. If they haven't sat down with me, I don't care. That's a different company. WFG is a big thing. Our organization is something different. So whether it's true or not, doesn't matter. What does matter is, I believe that. How many guys get it? You got to believe that there's something special about your team, about your organization. So I don't care if somebody's got recruited 10 times into WFG. They never heard about WFG because they never heard it from me. If they heard it from me, okay, they heard about WFG. That's okay. Okay. So you got to think like that. Those are the beliefs of a great recruiter. That's why we're talking today, right? We're talking about recruiting. We're going to give you some strategies as well. Now, you got to find whatever edge you can. I believe the edge we got right now, we got a limited window that we can get people licensed very fast right now. Now, crazy, in California, somebody can take a test online. We were talking about this last night. I said, hey team, we got to double our licensing. Whatever amount of licenses we have, by the end of the year, we got to have double of the number of licenses because I don't believe this is going to be here forever. I believe the online testing is going to go away very fast because somebody's going to start figuring out how to cheat online and they're going to stop it. So, and then things open up and everybody's like, okay, you got to come in. Now, whether that's true or not, doesn't matter. That's what I believe. So it puts me in an urgency mode. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So now I'm like, dude, I got a few months from this is my shot. This is my moment. This is the thing. So looking for stuff that gives you an edge to get you going. These are all if you can get it, it's all mindset. It's all how you think. It's all you against you. It's you winning the day. We were talking about this again last time. It's you against you. WFG is you against you. This little moment. Now, let's go a couple other things. Recruiting's never been easier as much as it is because there is no rejection anymore in recruiting. There used to be rejection. You know, that if I went and prospect somebody on a line and somebody told me no, I was like, okay, there was a little rejection. But now I can recruit people online. What are they? I mean, this is how crazy it is. People rather meet somebody online than in person. Like if I meet you, if somebody meets you in person and they meet, they're like, oh my God, you got to be careful. You don't know if they're a serial killer. But if they meet online, oh, okay, online. This used to be exactly the opposite way around before. 10 years ago, you meet people, you're like, okay, I meet this person online. Oh my God, who knows who this person is? Now I'm telling you, the psychology of people is changing, especially right now. Think about how many people you talk to past 5 years. And we used to, whenever we sit down in an appointment with somebody, we always say, hey, how did you guys meet? Let's say husband and wife. They're like, hey, how'd you meet your spouse? Hey, this friend of us gave us this. I went to this party and this was here. This person was here and they introduced us. We met. Now, almost, I'm not kidding, 90% of people, I'm like, how did you meet? Oh, we met online. How did you meet? We met online. So everybody's meeting their soulmate online and you cannot freaking meet a business partner online. That's BS. That's something in your head. So if somebody tells me they're recruiting right now is they can't recruit, you just know they're BSing. You just know they're just BSing. Because now here's the thing though, recruiting used to be as you go. Okay, you're like, as you go shopping, you go because you will go. Now there is no go. So if you're hoping as I go, I'm gonna go get recruit, you're already lost. Now recruiting must be scheduled into your calendar. You'd be like, all right, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'm recruiting. What that means is I'm actively looking for people. But also you have to have, as a matter of fact, I'll show you this since it's on my screen here. There's an F word here, so, but excuse the F word. But I'm gonna show you. I was like making a list last night. I was like, who am I looking for? I said, I'm looking for somebody who has an entrepreneurial mindset. I'm looking for somebody who has no excuses. I'm looking for somebody who's hungry. I'm looking for somebody who doesn't give a F about what people think. I'm looking for somebody who's loyal, loving, self-motivating, and loves recruiting, okay? So I was just I was making it more specific on who I'm looking for. So now when I see that person, I said, that's my guy. That's my guy. So if I see somebody's, is making excuses and okay, that's not my guy. That's not my guy. That's not my Cash. Can you do my appointments? No. Cash, can you do my appointment? No. Can you do my appointment? Yes. Because now I know who that person is. Being very, very, very specific. Now that was just a personality. Now you also need to be very specific on the type of people you want. Okay. You could be like, I'm looking for a Spanish female single mom in her 30s that does mortgages. Okay. When you become specific, just put 5 people, okay? Put 5 people you want in your team. You'd be like, I want this mindset. I want an African-American guy. I want a Spanish lady. I want a Filipino nurse guy, whatever it is, okay? I want a Chinese speaking, whatever. So you put 5 people with the mindset and who it is. Now you're actually looking for somebody instead of be like, yeah, that guy's good. Yeah, that guy, you don't want everybody, by the way. You gotta interview people. Do I want this guy? No, this guy sucks. No, okay. So it's like when you say hi to somebody at the store and then they're like, they don't say hi back. Do you really want that guy in your team? No, because they're just grumpy. Why would you want a bunch of grumpy recruits? It's not the fact that you gotta go recruit everybody. You gotta recruit massively, but it's specific, but you also gotta be specific on who you're looking for. So these are some tips on recruiting. Now, if you want to get your base shop recruiting going, that's a different deal. There's specific stuff you got to do. You got to make sure you're personally recruiting. You got to make sure you're getting 1 or 2 recruits a month. And you're putting that in front of everybody's faces. You got to make sure you have contests. You got to make sure you have more people. I know this is stupid, but it's really what it is. You just need to have more people. People are like, well, how do you get 100 recruits? Well, you get 20 people, get 5 fives. That's how you get 100 recruit. It's not this magical power that great recruiters have, okay? There is no magical power. They just have more people. You show me somebody who has more people, I'll show you somebody who's winning. We always talked about this, and we always talk about it right now. We say, look, if you show me someone who's the greatest coach of all time, like John Wooden, and he's the greatest coach of our time, but his players are, let's say, playing basketball. Their players is Cash and Daniel Quijano, Dan and Julie, and let's see who else here. And Ervin, guess what? Whoever we go against, we're going to lose, okay? Doesn't matter how great the coach is, okay? But if the coach is whoever, the coach is me, but then the player, if I got Kobe and if I got Shaquille, and if I got Jordan and LeBron, if I got all of these guys in my team, guess what's going to happen? We're going to win some game. Even if I suck. And I can tell you one thing, this is the secret to recruiting. So see, a lot of people sometimes give me credit to me, and I know that's not to be true. That's why we changed our names, team name to Wealth Builders on there, because I didn't want my name to be on on the Leaders Bulletin because it's truly not me who's doing it. That's why I said, it's not going to be on my name. I don't want my name to be up there because it's not me that's doing it. It's the team. We have some of the freaking greatest people, I believe, when it comes to recruiting. They're right here on the call. I'm not going to name them because there's a bunch of them. But we have so many freaking good people. So your job is to find good people. That's what a great recruiter does. I mean, I know that's like rocket science. I'm talking to you right now. You're like, wow. Like, I'm just telling you, it's basic common sense when it comes to recruiting right now. So you guys all know September, October, November is the biggest month of the year. We literally make half of the money we make in a year in September, October, November. You guys know that, right? So think about this. If let's say you make $1 million a year, you make 500,000 in September, October, November. That's how it works. Okay. That's where the big chunk of money comes in our business. But it only comes in if you have massive recruiting, which is right now. Like right now, in the next week or so, you got to be going crazy when it comes to your recruiting numbers. Okay, whose lives are, as a matter of fact, I hate that word, almost recruiting, because you shouldn't even call it recruiting. You should be calling it saving people's lives. There's a whole different, better thing to it. Just saving, I'm going to save people's lives. I'm going to get them into this environment. I'm going to get them to this self-improvement. I'm going to get them and teach them about money. I'm going to get excited about life. I'm going to be excited about this. I'm going to just get fired up myself. And then start going to have a meeting with people. Be fired up and then go have meeting with people and do it fast. Here's the thing about this. Another thing is this, and I'm a big guilty of this all the time. It is you can't spend too much time with people. If you spend a little bit too much time with people, boom, they think, oh, if this is so good, why are they spending so much time with me? So you got to be like, this is especially when you meet somebody good, I'm telling you. And I do this mistake every single day, by the way. And I got to remind myself, I spend too much time with this person. I'm spending too much time. Cash, I got to go. If I spend a little bit more time, he's going to think if this is so good, why am I spending so much time with him? And I do it sometimes. And I'm like, I got to stop myself. Cash, stop it. Stop. Because I do want to spend the time because I want to help him. But at the same time, I got to be like, hey, I got to look at my watch. You guys need to get into the mode of looking at your watch in every appointment. Just do this. Have you ever been in an appointment and then you're doing an appointment with somebody and your client do this, looks at their watch? What happens to you? You're like, oh my God, I got to finish this. So why don't you be the one who put that pressure on them? Be like, okay, let me look at my watch. Where are we at right now in time? Let me look at where we are. You just do that. Just see what happens to your recruiting. Just as you're doing, it's like, let me just go look at, hey, let me just look at this one. Just that little simple, stupid thing I just told you, just do that. Just start looking at that watch and see what happens to your recruiting numbers because people see you on the move. Okay? People see you on the move. So anyway, these are some of the points that I wanted to be sharing with you guys because, man, we are so blessed to be part of this team, to have Jamie and Sean as mentors, to have Greg Cap and Shane and Ed. Man, we are some of the most blessed people in the world. I believe it, okay? I really believe I am one of the most blessed people, luckiest people in the planet. I don't know. I just do, okay? This is another belief. It's a belief. You could choose to believe otherwise, or you could choose to believe you are one of the luckiest people in the world. So which one's better? It's only a belief. Which one has a happier life? I'm telling you, the one who's focused, who says this, man, I'm lucky. And you start asking yourself questions that makes you have a more fulfilled life, everybody. If I was talking to you right now, and if I would go in there one-on-one, ask you, I say, hey, Julie, what's the number one question you ask yourself every day? What would be the question? Okay. If I'm going around and say, hey, Stuart, what's the number one question you ask yourself? I'd be like, Scott, what's the number one question you're asking yourself? Bridget, what's the number one question you're asking yourself? Katie, what's the number one question? Naomi, what's the number one question you ask yourself every day? Oliver, what's the number one question you're asking yourself? What is that question? Okay. What is that question? A lot of your problems in life comes from that one single question that you're asking yourself every day. Can you guys think about that? If John was thinking about that right now, what would it be? What is that question? I want you to think about this. The true question. There is a true question that you ask yourself every day. And you know, for most people, it's like this. Am I good enough? Can I make this thing happen? Why things don't go the way it's supposed to for me? When am I gonna get a break? When is it gonna be my time? How can I get it going? Why not me? So they start asking questions that are, instead of being empowering question, they're actually, it's the exact opposite. So if you just did one thing, and that one thing was to change that question, it would change your life. See, what I ask myself is very simple. The question I ask is this: how can I make this moment more joyful, filled with love? How can I make this moment? Because the only thing it is, I want to live a life, because I know it's about happiness. How can I make this moment more joyful, filled with love? That's for me. That doesn't have to be yours. You got to ask yourself, what is that question that could change the direction of your life and give you complete fulfillment in your life? So anyway, fired up. Those are some tips I wanted to give you guys on recruiting. We got another 7 minutes. Let's see if somebody has some questions, and we'll do if you have a question, just put it down here. Maybe we can take it one or two. Fired up. Okay. Anybody? Everybody's master recruiters right now. Everybody's like, Kash, let me go. Let me go. I'm gonna go recruit somebody. Okay, let's go. Let's go. If everybody's ready, let's close this out, man. If there's no question, I'm excited about the day. Let's go talk to people, everybody.
Kash, I have a question.
Energy. Yeah, who has a question? Nazanin?
Nazanin Arash.
Yes.
Yes. Hi. Well, fantastic. In making the decision to what tool of recruiting I use for certain people, I oftentimes get confused. Like for this women event, I know very powerful women, and that I haven't spoke about the business with them. And my own feeling is, if they come to this big event with these powerful women, these women have the potential, but I know that they're not living to their potential. So it can be intimidating and recruiting to them. So what do you recommend?
What I recommend is you talk to them one-on-one and talk from your heart and tell them why you're doing it. Okay. So you talk to them, it's like, look, this is what I'm doing. This is a tool, but let me tell you what my mission is. Okay. I want to do this. I want to empower women. This is my freaking mission. It's like, it's my mission. I'm just using this hammer to get to my mission instead of this other hammer. Because this is the tool. Hammer is a tool, right? I can use a different tool, or I can use whatever tool. It could be a different business. That's just a tool. But you talk about right here. Here's what I'm doing. Talk about your heart. Okay. Go for people's heart. A great recruiter goes for people's heart. You show people your heart, and then they'll follow you. You talk to people about WFG, nobody's gonna follow you, because nobody cares about WFG. Nobody cares about Transamerica. They're a freaking corporation. Who cares about corporations? Okay, I care about my vision. It's just a tool. It's a thing that we can use to go get that thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, fired up. Good question.
Kash, one more question here, if you can.
Yes.
And one more.
Okay. This is Anthony Ibe.
Okay, Anthony.
Yes. I mean, I know that you didn't start out like this at the beginning. So at what point in your career did you just snap into this confident recruiting machine? And what did you do?
So I'll tell Anthony, where are you from originally?
Nigeria.
I was just gonna say you play soccer?
Awesome. Yes.
All right, baby. You got it. So awesome. But yeah, you're right. I did not get started like this. It was completely different when I got started. But I can't tell you that it was just at one point, Anthony, that it hit. It was a series of points, and it was a series of critical thinking and understanding this stuff that it kind of lead me that way. So I'll give you an example. So at first, You know, it's crazy. Some of the stuff that we come into WFG and then what it turns out to, as long as you don't quit. I'll give you an example. So for me, when I was a kid, I used to get bullied all the time. Okay. So because I used to get bullied all the time, I had this massive insecurity in me. Okay. And that's why growing up, I loved mafia movies. Like I loved Scarface. I loved Tony Soprano, because they had this power, and I used to get bullied. So I was like, man, if I was a mafia leader, man, I could have power. You know, when I would think when I would look at Tony Soprano, I was like, man, I just knew, thanks to WFG, if I would have gone to somebody, I would have been a gang leader for sure. Okay. So, because you know, when you get bullied so much, when you have such a low confidence, the fastest way, you know, is violence. If you have violence, that gives you immediate power. Okay. So what I really wanted was power. Simple. Done. I was like, I used to get bullied. Even when I was coming to this business, the girl that I wanted to be with was basically ended up going with another guy who was a surgeon who used to make a lot of money. So I always felt like powerless. So I was like, man, if I have money, I'll be powerful. But then what it was is, when I came here, I eventually, Anthony, I learned throughout the process that true power is completely different. True power is being completely in control of your emotions. That's true power. Okay, that's hard. So if I let somebody upset me, if I let somebody come here, let's say, for example, do people say crap about you? All the time. Okay, so if I let that get into me, if I let that stuff get into me, then I'm giving my power away. If I let somebody upset me, which it does happen all the time, that's why I'm working on it to make it better, that means I'm giving my power away. But if I can be in control of my emotion, to be happy and be joyful in the more moments of my life, that's why I have that question that I have, okay? Because my assistants know that I go crazy all the time. So I got to keep asking that question. And I understood that was true power. Okay. So Anthony, was it that like one moment that it happened for me? No. Here's what it was. I did have common sense though. I looked at Greg Cap. I looked at Dan. I looked at all the Ed and all these guys. And I looked at all these people. I said, okay, what do these people think? I listened to Tony Robbins. Like, how do these people think? There's God created me. God created them. Nothing difference there. So maybe there is something different. Let me look into it. And then you're like, okay, I remember this thing. People always told me, why didn't you quit? Because I should have quit technically, because I wasn't making any money. My first year in the business, I made $8,500 part-time. And then I made full-time. My second year in the business, I made $5,500 full-time in the business. My SMD quit, all of that stuff. So anything that could go wrong, it pretty much went wrong. A couple of houses, they went foreclosed. I didn't have any money. I'm collecting pennies. All of this stuff is happening. So, but it was very simple. Somebody told me, look, whatever you want to do, look at somebody who's done it. You see, most things about life is so simple. It is so simple. That's why people who are too smart, it's so hard for them to win. I'm telling you, smart people, it's so hard for them to win because they think it's more complicated. They're like, see, if you think it's complicated, therefore you're not winning, therefore it's not your fault. So complication is the enemy to execution. If I think something is so complicated, I won't do it. It's like, man, I don't know exactly how to do it. I don't know what website I need to go on. I don't know exactly what with the moment that something changed. Like, so you're looking for something that's like, oh my God, it's so complicated. Therefore you don't get the result. Okay. Because you think it's complicated. You don't take the action. You don't get the result. But most of this stuff is actually so simple. Says, look, somebody told me, look at these guys. If you want to have the life they have, you got to do what they have, and you got to look at, you got to do what they do, and you got to look at what they've done after 10 years. Look at somebody who's been doing WFG for 10 years. Look at their life. Look to see if they're happy. Look to see if they have the money you want, the life that you want. And if the answer is yes, you stick around. It was that simple. So I made a decision to stick around, Anthony. And then when I stuck around, I'm like, how did these guys think? And then I get around them. I'm like, wow, they think very differently. I'm very shallow. That's basically what it was. You know, I was like, dude, I'm very shallow. I'm pretty selfish. And It's just, that's the truth. So I need to be thinking it better. So the thing is, we just need to become better, right? I'm like, well, I want to be better. I want to be better. So what do? I need to change. And that's the thing, I was talking to Monty Home last month, and I got so emotional about it. I said, Monty, you changed my life. The stuff that you taught me has completely changed my life. And I'm getting emotional right now talking to you about it. I said, what can I do for you? And, he said, Cash, he says nothing. I says, I know something you could do. I said, okay, what is it? He said, I need you to pay it forward. I need you to go and help other people. And that's the thing that you could do to take the legacy to the next level. And I'm just so grateful for having the mentors and the leaders we have. So you eventually change. You can't be around all of this stuff and then not change and not become better. So longer answer that you needed, but we're fired up. We're going to close it out. You guys ready, everybody? I'm going to do a quick whoosh nonstop to the top, everybody. Let's go. Whoosh. Have a blessed day.
We probably should have taken ourselves on mute for that whoosh.
Thanks, Cash. You're the man.
That was
Great
awesome.
job,
Have a
Cash.
blessed day, everybody.
Love you, Cash.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Take
Cash.
care.
Thank you. That was so amazing.
It was.
Thank
you,
That was awesome.
Cash.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Cash. Whoos.
That was awesome. Thank you.